One other fact. About 60%, as was pointed out by Gene, because we both have a passion related to this, are making the minimum wage are women. A lot of them with children. It's about time we stop treating work in fields where women are the majority as less valuable than in male-dominated fields. Look, I have two brothers and a sister. I had the great pleasure of my mom living with me in her final years. Toward the end, my mom needed help. She broke her hip. And I'm down here, and my mom was too proud to move down here. She didn't want to move to the vice president's house. But she stayed home in my house. And so we were there all the time. My sister, God love her, my mom used to have an expression. It says, a son's a son till he gets a wife, a daughter's a daughter the rest of her life. Well, my sister is my closest friend, and my brother Jim, who lived in Philly, they were there all the time with Mom. And then I'd be home every weekend. I got a lot of criticism. Why'd Biden go home so much in the first 3 years? Well, I went home because my mom was home. Simple proposition, and I'm not that far away. But it turned out after she broke her hip, she needed some help. She didn't need a nurse, an RN, or even a practical nurse. She needed just somebody to sometimes help her get up in her walker, maybe unload the washing machine. My mother insisted on doing her wash, but when it's heavy, to put it out of the washer into the dryer, she needed a little bit of help. Didn't want to help, but she knew she needed it. And just make sure that there was some help making her meals. Well, let me tell you something. We went out and got great people. They were wonderful in my mom. With one exception, they're all women. And fortunately, my brothers and sisters have done better than I have. And we were able to all chip in and make sure everything was paid. But it was very expensive. Those of you who are doing the same thing with your families, you know that. Well, you know, the take-home, the care of workers, for example, there are nearly 1.8 million home care workers across the country. Hard-working and pretty professional, mostly women, who work around the clock so folks like my mom get help bathing, cooking, keeping track of their medications, which is a chore by itself, live independently in their own homes, or, in this case, with me not there. Think of all those baby boomers trying to care for their parents, seeking care for themselves. So one of the fastest growing industries, is a good thing in America, is home care. But here's the thing. As the home care business has changed over the years, the law hasn't changed to keep up. In some cases, folks work for large companies that provide these workers. They charge a reasonable price, which is a lot of money, but then turn around and pay less than the minimum wage. Not the outfit I had, best of my knowledge, but they turn around and pay less than the minimum wage for providing service. So this exception that was built in the law 75 years ago, when you go to the next door neighbor and they're helping you out kind of thing, that's not where we are today. So in December 2011, the president made a commitment to guarantee home care workers hired by third-party employers a minimum wage and overtime pay protection. And now we're following through on that promise. Look, the president and I and all the guys and women you met in our team so far, this administration, is now working to finalize the rule that will get this done. Look, it's an example of the basic question of economic growth and fairness. Shouldn't someone working 40 hours a week be able to make a wage that's above the poverty level? I mean, it's not, it's just, you know, it's not dignity, it's not about dignity, it's about decency. I mean, working 40 hours a week. It's just that simple. American workers built this country. The folks behind me and those who went before them built this country. And so we got to continue to support them. The Fair Labor Standard Act is as relevant today as it was the day it was passed. And this is worth the fight. Looking out at all of you, I'm confident we have the better side of the argument and the better side of the Army on our side. And so, folks, we are determined. It's wages, it's overtime, and it is decency, and it's about, at the end of the day, as Gene said, and his book does focus on, the whole notion of dignity. Just simple dignity. No man or woman who works 40 hours a week should go home and look at their kids and say, honey, we got to apply for food stamps. We got to apply for this particular help or that particular help. No one wants to have to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Want to make it on their own. And folks, that's all this is about, a fighting chance. So God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you so much.